to my
You
life.
want to get into pickling?
I want to start pickling. Do you want me to bring? I'll bring you a pickle for Perth. See when you can have it.
Don't aim too high, bro. You know what I mean?
All right, guys, can't wait to see this next man fighting in February as he joins us now before getting into the Christmas celebrations with the family, which I'm curious about. The man who takes on Paulo Costa, UFC Perth, Robert Whittaker. Welcome back to Submission Radio. How are you this morning, man?
Good morning, mate. It's it's good to be back.
Yes, I mean, the big question really is, how does one navigate Christmas during fight camp? And is there a point where Skinny Rob needs to go away for a few days?
Not quite. So, fortunately, I'm at a point where I've worked out my diet and training to a degree that I can, as long as I'm hitting all my goals and I'm quite consistent with the weight and the training leading up to Christmas, I'll be able to have a few days where I can, a little bit of Christmas ham here or there.
Really? Because I wanted to ask you about that. I pictured like the whole family, everyone's getting stuck into all the good stuff, and then you're sort of on like a different table, like with just the prep meals. And you're like, don't talk to me, guys. Like I'm suffering with all this like diet food. What is it actually like though?
Yeah, it's definitely not that bad. It's I just got to eat a little bit less than I would normally eat, and I stay away from like I can't just go out and eat a bowl of potatoes. I can't have hot chippies. Can't have any of the sweets.
Nah, man.
So
Is this different to like back in the day? Because I remember like obviously Christmas and like family time is like super, super important to you. And I remember like I think there were a few fights where you're like, I'd rather fight at different times so I can actually enjoy Christmas with my family. Was it always like this, or is it only now that you've sort of figured out this system that works for you?
It's two-part. It's definitely at the point that I am now is different than previously. I feel like I've refined and honed all the processes in place to do what I do now. But also after the fight in September, I had that time away with the family, and I was eating, and you know what? Like I had enough. Like I was ready to get back to work, to go hungry a little bit. So it was perfect timing, and the fact that it was just Christmas that I was having to do it through was just, part of the puzzle.
I think I remember seeing a photo of you actually working out on Christmas Day or something on your Instagram back in the day, but maybe I was wrong. But okay, let's look at Feb, man, because Casper mentioned it. We can't wait to see you fight. But we had Paulo Costa on the show a few weeks ago, and he said that this fight is far from official with you from his side of the things. So I'm curious, man, like you would have seen some of the headlines and things that are going on, but I wonder, like, what has the UFC told you? And is this fight still 100% official from what you're understanding?
Mate, this is this is my side, right? Mm-hmm. I signed a contract, and I'm training my butt off, and I'm starving myself to get down to the weight limit. Someone is getting beaten up in February. Okay, like what he's doing, he's a notorious troll for that sort of stuff. So I'm not paying too much attention. I don't think anybody else should pay too much attention to the dude that walks around with a bottle that says secret juice on it.
I mean, fair point. I think from his perspective, he was saying how, look, his contract's super outdated. It's like from 2017. He's fighting killer after killer. And he's like, I should be getting paid more than what I'm paying. So I think the way he explained it is he's waiting for Hunter to basically send him an offer. I think there was an offer sent, but I think it was for like a multi-fight deal. And he was like, I don't want to do a multi-fight deal. I want to do something a little bit more simple where I get paid a little bit more. So I don't know. Is there like a deadline for you where you're kind of like, there's a certain date or point that I'm curious about as far as like whether I'm going to be fighting Paulo Costa or not?
No, I honestly haven't thought about it. It hasn't crossed my mind. It's like I said, I am only interested in worrying about the things that I can control, and that's training, getting the weight down, putting all the pieces together, and getting in their Feb.
Okay, so no matter what, because you're on this path already, you're getting into shape. If Paulo Costa can't do this, you're saying no matter what, UFC Perth, people can know that, okay, Robert Whittaker will still be fighting somebody. And the UFC kind of have to find someone, but you're set on keeping that date.
Mate, they're not going to find anyone. Costa's going to take the fight. He's you guys are thinking. This is exactly what he wants. He just wants you talking about it. 100% he'll be there. This is if he misses this one. This is the second time we were supposed to fight, and he's going to bounce on it. And due to the fact that he's not happy with his contract. Who is happy with their contract? Yeah, I don't know. Like, just take the fight. Let's get it on so I can have a holiday. I can't have a holiday. I can't have
There
a
it is.
holiday.
There's the real reasons.
I don't fight someone in February.
You sound like that guy who's been like at his end of his shift and he's like, just, come on, really relieve me so I can fuck off and go home already. I've been here too long.
Mate, it's like when you clock up at 9 and someone comes in at like 8:55. You're like, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't go on a holiday and enjoy myself if I don't earn it. So, yeah.
Well, for the record, he spoke super, super highly of you, and he said you are like his basically favorite fight from his perspective, and he really wants to make the fight happen. So I think you might be onto something.
Why am I his favorite fight?
You wear nice t-shirts. No, I think he sees you as like a champion, a legitimate guy, a tough test. I think the fans also are interested in this fight as well. I don't know. He just seemed like, of all the people that he could fight in the division, I think also he wants to prove himself. I think he sees you as like a guy that if he can beat you, it says a lot, whereas maybe if it was someone who was super low ranked, you could beat them, and then it's like, oh, it doesn't say as much.
Yeah, I guess. I think this is the way every fight should be. You should have respect and be cordial with your opponent. You don't know how it's going to go, how it's going to end up. And at the end of the day, we're just like two guys getting in there, giving our all. I feel like fighting is the ultimate test of the spirit and soul. So, I think that deserves a little respect, and it's good to hear he has some.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully it comes together because we can't wait to see this fight. All right, just also want to touch base on the division a little bit, because now it's been a little bit of time, and we saw your immediate reaction to Alex Pereira beating Israel. It was a great video. We kind of got a chance to see your reactions as the things unfolded. But now that it's been a little bit of time, what are your thoughts on what actually happened, and Alex is now being the champion and actually beating Israel in the way that he did?
I think it was just outstanding performance on both dudes. I thought it was a stellar fight. Both guys are so tall. I couldn't get over how big Alex is, because he made Adesanya look small, and Adesanya's huge.
Yeah.
So it was a very chess match of a fight. To see Alex get hurt the way he did in the first round, and then hang in there, and then steadily he modified his game plan and his approach a little bit after that first round, which shows a lot of head IQ. It gets in there, and then to take it from him in the fourth, it was a great showing on both dudes. It was a great fight.
I'm curious, in terms of the rematch, do you see it as okay, in a rematch, Israel could potentially win? Or I know Alex Pereira, from his perspective, he's kind of sometimes people just kind of have your number. What do you think about that? Do you think this is a fight that if it happens again, it's going to go the same, or it's one of those it depends on the night?
Well, it definitely depends on the night, but there are a couple of factors involved with this, because I had Adesanya winning that fight against Pereira until he got finished. So there's that, right? The second thing is, I think the biggest hurdle Adesanya has in that fight with Pereira is mentally. It's hard to get your head around a fight where you've lost to the same dude 3 times, where you've been knocked out by the dude twice. It's it's a mental hurdle, and that's not to say he can't do it. I'm sure he can. He's already come to grips with it, and he's already ready for that rematch. But I think that is the biggest hurdle, because you could see on the night, skill set wise, Adesanya had all the tools to take the win, which he was, I believe, leading up to.
Yeah.
But But yeah, that's the sport. That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, it's crazy because the other fight where he knocked Israel out, Israel was winning that fight as well with the kickboxing match, and then it happened again. So you're on the on the ball there, like mentally. It's just a really huge hurdle to overcome. I wonder, man, like now that Alex is the champ, like you'd be thinking about how a potential fight between you and him would go. And a lot of people saying like out of the skill, and this is what people say about you anyway when it comes to any opponent really, but a lot of people saying you're the toughest matchup for Alex in the whole division.
Yeah, I believe, as you said, I'm the toughest matchup for anyone in the division. And don't get me wrong, I'm still gunning for Adesanya. I'm still going to work out that puzzle, tall bastard. But yeah, I think stylistically, I match up with Alex a bit better because he's much more upright, less fade away, more forward pushing, and he's just he's just there more, and I believe I can use a lot of my arsenal and my skill set against a guy that isn't fading away and fighting counter fighting the way Adesanya does. So, but wait and see. That dude's huge. He doesn't look like a fun prospect to fight.
How would you see yourself dealing with like that knockout power threat and the fact that like with Adesanya, like he was winning pretty much most of the fight until he wasn't? How would you see yourself dealing with that kind of challenge for 5 rounds?
The same way I deal with every guy with knockout power. Like, do these ones? But I fought a lot of dudes that hit like a truck. I fought a lot of dudes that were starching guys one after the other until they got to me. It's yeah, try your best not to get hit. That's realistically the only option you have. What are you going to do? Go out and just punch yourself in the face until you get used to it? That's not how it works. Mm-hmm. You can't do things like that. So I don't see. Do you have a better idea?
I just think of like when you say like, man, if I could go out there and lay on an opponent for 25 minutes and then go home and get paid, I would totally do it. So I think a lot of people are like, yeah, if Rob, I think a lot of people in general who would challenge Alex, it's like, yeah, incorporate the wrestling. So I feel like NCAA Rob would come out in a big way in this situation.
You see though, and if you look at my fights since Till, I've been utilizing my grappling consistently throughout my fights. So yeah, it's something. Regardless, it'll be displayed in the next fight. How much of it will? Well, I'll leave that as a secret.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned how big he is, and I saw the headlines where he basically was looking to fight at UFC 283, but he wasn't going to be able to make middleweight. So he was challenged, like he was open to fighting Khamzat at 205. He was saying how the turnaround would be too short for him to actually make that middleweight limit. And I'm just curious, what did you think when you saw that? It's kind of a weird situation when you kind of have the middleweight champion willing to fight, but also kind of admitting, hey, like, this isn't really a weight class that I can make relatively easily.
Yeah, but I think that's the case for a lot of the middleweight division. I think that's the case for a lot of guys in any division. Especially the guys at the upper end who are really trying to min-max their weight to cutting ratio. It's it's like if you drop a fight on me last minute, then me making the weight's gonna be very hard as well. What I do find funny though is Alex saying, yeah, we'll fight, but you got to come up 2 weight divisions.
Yeah, with no like, belt.
Why stop there? This like no weight division, you know?
I know people were a little bit like, oh, like made it seem like Khamzat turned down the fight, but it's kind of like, well, why would you fight the dude if the belt's not on the line, right?
I don't know, bragging rights.
I guess, but it's almost like if you're a Khamzat and you're like, all right, like I've got a style that's gonna potentially beat this guy. I can get the middleweight championship super quickly. It's almost like, okay, no, but you got to fight him at 205. It's like, well, that's not an attractive offer, right?
Yeah, hard to say. They would have paid him a pretty penny, I'm pretty sure.
That's true. I am curious. I know you and Khamzat are like bezies at this point, but what did you think about, him being in the talks of getting a potential title shot, especially considering as like, that's your ultimate goal as well?
I guess like the same approach I've had since like ever, because they've always done weird crap like this. Like I've seen weirder stuff happen around titles, so it is what it is, sort of thing. It'd be interesting, I guess. I don't really care about anything because I'm going to fight Costa in February, and then whoever's in that top spots, I'm gunning for. Whoever's there, because that's my progression. That's where I go. So don't worry about things you can't control.
Yeah, I like that. That's like words of wisdom for life. Don't worry about things that you can't control. I've been trying to do that myself. Speaking of things that you can control, if you want the smoothest sack in 2023, there's only one way to get that. If you want to be the best version of yourself coming into next year, there's only one way to do that, and that's with our good friends at Manscaped with the Performance Package 4.0 and the Lawnmower 4.0, the pound-for-pound greatest grooming tool in the world with its ceramic blade, the skin-safe technology, the LED light, the waterproof features, the wireless charger dock. You'll be, shaving the pumpkins downstairs and getting all sorts of action 2023. And the best value for money is the Platinum Package 4.0, where you get the lawnmower itself, the Weed Whacker Era Nose Hair Trimmer, the Ultra Premium Body Wash, the Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo and Conditioner, the Ultra Premium Deodorant, the Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant. No more chafing in 2023. Think about that. And then the Crop Reviver Ball Spray Toner, so your fellas smell phenomenal. And then free gifts, the boxes and the Shed Travel Bag. What an excellent gift for yourself or even for somebody else for that sexy New Year's resolution. Is that right, Dennis?
That's right, man. Invest in yourself going into the next year and re-up if you already had the shower products. Get some more, man, because this is amazing stuff. And I don't go anywhere without my Manscaped boxes. They're perfect for running, boxing, whatever it is you like to do. Super comfortable. You guys can get 20% off with the code word submission and free shipping now. Get yourself set up for 2023 the right way with our friends at Manscaped. And while you're doing that, why not make some serious money with our friends at MyBookie? I'm just looking at the odds right now, Kaz, for Sean Strickland versus Jared Cannonier. Sean Strickland minus 116, Jared Cannonier minus 109. A pivotal fight in the middleweight division. Who will you be putting your money on? There's only one thing that's guaranteed, and that is that you guys get 100% match deposit. If you use the code word submission with MyBookie now, that's dollar for dollar all the way up to 1,000 bones. Make sure to go to MyBookie today and secure the bag for 2023 with the code word submission, Cass.
Yeah, and also super quickly, there's like data breaches every single week, it seems, for all the biggest companies. People trying to steal your data, people trying to steal your credit card information, all sorts of stuff. Protect yourself from that with NordVPN so that trackers can't track you, can't steal your data. Even your internet service provider will not be able to check your browser history because, as we know, incognito mode doesn't really protect you from anything. And also, why not save some money? We've said this a million times. If you make your computer think you're in a different country, different location, you will get those prices in that different country, different location. Australian Netflix, not maybe the most expensive, but hey, it's a lot more expensive than Mexican Netflix. So make your computer think you're in Mexico, and then you get the cheap Mexican Netflix, and you can enjoy everything. Same with flights, same with other products, same with pay-per-views, all sorts of streams, all sorts of things. They're all cheaper in different countries. Dennis with the NBA League Pass didn't want to pay Aussie prices, paid, Filipino, Indonesian prices, got the NBA League Pass for way cheaper. If you're in New Zealand, sometimes you're paying way more extra for stuff. Change your geolocation, save some money. Isn't that right, Dennis?
That's right, man. Look, I'm going to make it really simple for everybody out there. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Sign up right now. That's right. Sign up right now. Try it going into 2023. See how much of a difference it's going to make in your life right now. Just click the link in the description below or go to nordvpn.com/submission. And by the way, if you want to stick with it, you get a huge discount plus 4 months free. There is really no other way to say it. NordVPN is a must-have for 2023 if you haven't picked it up yet. But Rob, I know we speak about this. We spoke about it last time, but the 205 division, man, this thing is just ridiculously wide open at this point. Like, I know you'd see that now it's going to be Glover and Hill fighting for the title in Brazil, but like a part of you have to be keeping an eye on that division, knowing that it's a possibility in the future and seeing how wide open it is for you to go in and potentially get that title in that division as well.
Yeah, I definitely, it's definitely thinking about it. Because more than the openness of the division and everything else around it, it's more just because I'm curious to see how I would perform at a heavier weight limit. You know, and just that curiosity really, more than anything, sparks me. But they are big dudes. Like, they are massive guys. That Jiri, he's a monster. Like, he's so big. Not to mention he's crazy. like he's absolutely nuts. You know, yeah. What more can I say? It's
He also vacated the belt, which is
that was
a
crazy
respectable move.
Yeah.
No, it's even crazier.
Yeah.
It's crazier because it means he has
a lot of money.
Well, no, he just has like how do I say it? He has nothing limiting what he wants to do. There are no inner thoughts. There's nothing you can bribe him with. There's nothing you can lure him with. There is nothing going on in his head except what he wants there to be, which is crazy. You know, he's immune to everything. It's a crazy dude, and he's willing to get in that octagon and literally die there. You can see that in him when you see him fight, and that's a scary prospect. But yeah, it might be the cards. I'm still gunning for another shot at gold in the division that I am, but I'll worry about the future afterwards.
Well, you got that Musashi t-shirt on you, and I think in a lot of ways Jiri's a Musashi type fighter, way of the warrior. So
yeah,
shout out to everybody out there at Musashi as well. Great company. Make sure to pick up their stuff. All right, Rob, as we finish up, because I know you got a bit on your plate, I just wonder, man, like, are you the type to make kind of like resolutions or plans or goals with the next year coming up? I only say that because it's something that I've started doing recently, but I'm curious, like, if you had to kind of say that number one goal, that number one resolution, or something that is a goal for you, maybe personally, outside of fighting, what would it be for 2023? What's one that really stands out to you?
What in what sense? Like
it could be anything, man. I want to do my own pickles. Start pickling my own pickles.
And that's your resolution.
It is, yeah. Because
like
been meaning to do it for years.
The ultimate thing you could change across the board of your entire life. I
really think it will bring a lot of happiness to my life.
You want to get into pickling?
I want to start pickling. Do you want me to bring? I'll bring you a pickle for Perth. See when you can have it.
Don't aim too high, bro. You know.
Imagine you ask me in Perth, and I'm like, sorry, I gave up. We're January.
We're 2 months in. It's not the year of the pickle. I'd love to see the resolutions back to back. It's like 2020, like buy a house. 2021, whatever, kids and this and that. 2023, the year of the pickle, man.
Beaten down by life. It's aiming real low. I guess next year I want to take that belt back. I want to get the belt back. That's career wise. That is the the target in my sights. That's what I want to. That's what I want to aim for. Outside of my career, there's a lot of everything. I want to get better at everything. I just want to get better at everything.
Awesome, man. Well, titles, fights, Paulo Costa, and pickles. That's what we can look forward to in 2023.
What a year!
What a year, man!
I bring the pickles, Rob brings the titles, and all the other stuff. We'll see.
I can't wait, man. I love the optimism for this Paulo Costa fight. Let's be honest. It'll happen. We can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see you in Perth. Have a phenomenal Christmas, Rob. Have a phenomenal New Year's. Guys, make sure to follow him at Robert Whittaker MMA. And thanks so much for chatting with us, man. Always appreciate it. Always fun.
Too easy. You guys have a good Christmas too.
You too, Rob. Thanks, man. Bye.